All right, 11:02. I think I might go ahead and get started, just not so we don't keep everybody waiting. Thank you all so much for being here today. This is our virtual session of Yalsa 101. Our goal today is to let you know how to make the most of your Yalsa membership. My name is Jessica Schwartz. I am the Teen Services Librarian at the Louisville Public Library in Louisville, Colorado. I've been in Teen Services for about 10 years. I've been a Yalsa member since 2009 when I was in library school. I've served on a wide variety of Yalsa committees, and I'm currently the chair of the Division Membership Promotion Committee.
And I'm Christine Edison. I'm the Adult and Teen Services Manager at Sugar Grove Public Library in Sugar Grove, Illinois. And I've been in Teen Services about the same amount of time, about 10 years, and a Yalsa member for about the same amount of time.
Nice.
Really appreciate getting the chance to speak to everybody.
All right, so at this point, we are going to attempt a poll. Again, just to kind of get to know you all a little better, to give us a sense of what you might like to know. We'd love to know how you worked with teens. Are you a school librarian, a public librarian? Do you work in an academic library? Or do you work with teens in some other capacity? You could always let us know in the chat too. So if you could take a chance, take a moment to fill that in. Carla, whenever you feel like it's a good time, you can show us the results. Okay, so we kind of a mix. Those of you who chose other, I know we said we saw a children's librarian in the chat. What other things are you all doing? High school library. But we do have some folks both in public and school. That's great.
Yeah, we welcome everybody.
All right, so we just wanted to remind everybody how you can find Yalsa on the web. Everything that we're going to talk about today, you can find on Yalsa's website, ala.org/Yalsa. If you are so inclined, feel free to look us up on social media as well. Yalsa is on Twitter at Yalsa, and Yalsa is also on Facebook. So feel free to check us out there.
Okay. So if it sounds like you might already be Yalsa members, but in case you're not, or in case you know somebody who's interested in Yalsa, why should you join Yalsa? Because you're not alone. Oftentimes as a teen librarian, I felt kind of alone since I'm the only one directly working with teens, even though I know everybody in the library does work with teens in some capacity. But through Yalsa, you can network with more than 4,700 Yalsa members, including, people from either school libraries or public libraries or academic libraries, as we've seen here today, as well as other support staff. So you can check out the member map, and we will be sending everybody a copy of all these slides so you can check out those links a little bit later. Other members only benefits that are available through Yalsa include the Yalsa e-journal, the Yalsa blog, weekly e-news, and other members only resources. And I've got to say that being a member of the DMP committee, I've had to learn about a lot more Yalsa resources than I was certainly aware of. So I hope you get a chance to check some of those resources out.
Yeah, once you start exploring the website, you're like, oh yeah, there's a lot more here than, especially if you've been a member for a while, like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. I forgot about this. That's right. So we're here to remind you about all this cool stuff.
All right. So slide number 8, is that me?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
We're trying to trade off between them, so it sounds more like a conversation. So, whoops.
Oh, sorry, now I went too far.
Okay. So volunteering with Yalsa gives you resume building opportunities. I mean, I've certainly had a chance through working with different Yalsa committees to help with grant applications, to see what goes into a good grant application. And we have a lot of different professional development training and resources to help you level up your skills. It's also a chance for you to share information about what you're doing at your library and to get feedback from other people working with teens.
All right. So one of my favorite benefits of being a member of ALA and Yalsa is conferences. Conferences are such a great way to network with people, to get inspired by people, to learn new things. So ALA has two annual conferences. There's ALA Annual, which always occurs about this time of year, kind of mid to late June. And then there's LibLearnX, formerly known as Midwinter, that happens in January. So at both of these conferences, committees are meeting. There are educational presentations you can go to. There are amazing speakers who come. You get to go to the exhibit booth and talk to publishers and authors. There's always cool swag to pick up, lots of fun
So much
art.
fun.
It's
So much
so
fun.
much fun. It's just an incredible experience. The award ceremonies happen at annual. The award announcements happen at LibLearnX, and both are really fun to go to. So if you ever get a chance to go to a conference, I highly, highly recommend it. It's so much fun. And you just leave feeling inspired and kind of reinvigorated. They're great. These conferences are gigantic. They are for all ALA members. So there'll be teen librarians, but there'll also be children's librarians and academic librarians and people who work in special libraries and stuff like that. If you're interested in something that's more targeted to your interests, the Yalsa Symposium is a great choice. That happens annually in November. This year it's happening in Baltimore, Maryland. And this is exclusively focused on folks who work with teens. So all of the presentations and sessions are specifically focused on teen services. So that's another great alternative. I have not actually been in person. I presented virtually, which was really cool last year. But Christine, you have been in person to this,
Yeah,
right?
I was able to go to the one in Austin, Texas, and it was a great experience. I got a chance to meet some young adult authors, which was terrific, and also got a chance to network with other teen librarians, which was a great experience, and learn what they're doing for teens. So yeah, I would recommend it. But I also recognize, if we want to move on to the next slide, that you may have some financial concerns about going to these conferences, as
Sorry.
much as they're a wonderful experience. So Yalsa does offer a lot of scholarships and grants. So either for things going on within your library, like the Great Books Giveaway and collection development grants, but also travel stipends and the Spectrum Scholarship. And here you see some of the recipients pictured of the Spectrum Scholarship. And there are also two links talking about people who've won different grants. So each year, Yalsa offers more than $195,000 in grants and awards to members, including $3,000 stipends, I think it was, to go to different conferences. So please, if you're thinking about going to a conference, but you're worried about the financial commitment, check out those scholarships. There may be one that's perfect for you.
All right, programming resources. So programming is a huge way that we connect to teens in libraries, and Yalsa has a ton of great resources for you in that respect. There are resources on Teentober. Teentober is kind of a recent initiative in the last few years. It combines Teen Read Week and Teen Tet Week, and now we just have Teentober, and it's sort of a time where we highlight teen services and advocate for teen services and all the great things that we do. So if you are interested in trying something out at your library, check out that link. The STEAM Toolkit is really cool. There's a ton of resources on there, both for like you getting yourself up to speed on teen topics. Or teen STEAM topics. And then there are a lot of resources, programming ideas, how to evaluate your programs. It's really, really extensive. And I think this is a cool opportunity for those of you who are in school libraries. So much of STEAM stuff out there, I feel like, focuses on younger kids. So it's nice to see stuff that is focused on teens. And I skipped over the teen programming guidelines. This is a great resource if you're maybe new to teen programming, if teen services is something your library doesn't do a ton of. There's some really great guidelines on kind of best practices in terms of teen programming. So check that out. And then my absolute favorite of our resources is the Teen Program HQ.
Yeah.
This is basically like a more organized Pinterest, an easier to search Pinterest page with tons of programming ideas. So it's essentially a database where folks can go on and share the cool programs that they have done. So anybody can add their stuff to it. So you could add something, I could add something. There are content experts that review everything, make sure everything is, legit and looks good. But everybody is welcome to add contact. So it's a great, or add content to that site. So it's a really, really great way to find stuff. There's tags, so it's searchable by tag. And there's stuff for school librarians, public librarians, just a
I
lot
also
of.
wanted to mention, if you do work for a smaller library, don't feel discouraged about doing teen programming. I mean, you may not have the resources to do a huge program, but you could certainly search through there and find things that might work really well for you. And by sharing your resources, you're helping other small librarians help their teen services as well. So
Yeah, that's a good point. These are not just like huge, like Comic-Con type of events. These are like little fun programs too. There's a wide array depending on your library size, budget, what your teens are interested in. I recommend everybody pop on there just to look around. There's a lot of really great stuff.
yeah. Now, I know, Jessica, you mentioned that you integrated the Teen Book Finder app into your summer reading program, and I was really interested to hear about
Yes,
that.
we did. Yeah. So, and the Book and Media Awards database too. So, my library has been using Beanstack since the pandemic started for our summer reading program, and we've been trying to look for more ways to use all that the online software has to offer. And we're doing some extra, kids have the opportunity of earning extra badges. We have a bunch of different activities they can do. And one of the activities they can earn a badge for is reading an award or honor book winner. And rather than have a million kids come to the desk and ask me for book and award winners over the summer when it's already pretty popping in here, I just put a link to this, to the database, and people have been, it's easy to search. People have been using that to find books. So it was a really cool way to use that resource.
And I will say that I find for collection development, having those book and media award lists online has been really helpful. And in the process of researching this webinar, discovered more resources available on the hub, more of those lists being put online through the hub, that has made collection development a lot easier this year. So I appreciate those resources being available.
Yeah, on the hub, I served on a couple of the selection list award committees, the Best Fiction for Young Adults and Amazing Audiobooks. And now that those are virtual, the folks on those committees write a lot of blog posts and will share book reviews of the books that are getting buzzed about. So it's nice, rather than just looking at the list at the end of the year, which is great, it's nice to kind of pop on the hub, a couple times a month and see what are these committees talking about. You kind of get firsthand look at what books are getting a lot of buzz, what are other librarians saying is quality stuff. So it's nice that those are available, those posts are available year round rather than just at the end of the year when we make the award announcement.
I wanted to remind everybody, you are more than welcome to post questions in the chat, and we will try and get to them as we can. We will have a question and answer section at the end, but if there's something that is relevant to what we're talking about, we're happy to fit your question in. So please feel free to ask questions.
Thank you, Christine. I was going to mention that at the beginning and I totally forgot.
No problem, no problem.
All right, professional development. So this is, I think, one of the best ways to utilize your Yalsa membership. Yalsa has so many webinars, just like this one. And as a Yalsa member, you have access to the whole entire archive of these webinars and, any webinar that is to come. So on the right-hand side, we have a few that we've done in the past. I know I personally taught one a few years ago about teen behavior. I did one last year about serving on one of those selection list award committees. But they are there's all kinds of topics on there, and you have access to all of those for free now. So I highly recommend popping on there, searching, and then also check the e-newsletter weekly because we do a new webinar every month. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for those because again, they're free. If you can't make the time though, they're recorded for you to go back and watch whenever it's convenient for you.
And it sounds like that there's a variety of lengths of programs. They're not all just 1 hour, but there's some that are a little more segmented, and then we have longer courses available as well.
Yes, that's true. That's one of the nice things too. Like there's hour-long ones, but then there's also shorter resources too for if you just have a few minutes, you want to get up to speed on one specific topic. E-courses are a great way if you do want something that's a little bit more commitment heavy. So Yalsa provides these online classes on a variety of subjects, and they're great for both teen librarians and also maybe support staff who work with teens. I did a couple, I've done a couple of these, and these do cost money. I will say with your membership, you get a discount. But these are, you know, they might be 4 weeks long, they might be 8 weeks long, and it's like a legit class. Like there was homework, there was like a discussion board where we posted. Yeah, it was like taking a real class. So I did one when I first started out, my first job, about working with tweens. I did another one about evaluating teen literature, and both were fantastic. I think one was 4 weeks, one was 6 weeks. There's an upcoming course that starts July 11th that I wanted to let you all know about. That sounds fantastic. And it's about supporting neurodivergence and mental health at your library. So that sounds fantastic. That's a 4-week course that you can sign up for. These are not archived. So please register and take advantage of these opportunities like as they're coming, because these are not archived. So yes, please register now for that awesome e-course coming up. And then down below in the more, there's, like Christine mentioned, there's a lot of other opportunities for kind of just small short things. We have some YouTube videos called snack breaks that are short YouTube videos on a variety of topics. There's these self-paced professional learning courses that are a little bit more time heavy, but you can pace yourself. So it's where webinars and articles and information will be kind of compiled on one topic and sent to you, and then you can work through those kind of modules on your own time. So again, there's a variety of professional development opportunities. Whether you have a lot of time, whether you have a little bit of time, you'll find something for everybody on there.
And I will say, I took one on running a Comic-Con at your library and quickly determined that our library was a little too small to do that, since it was just me doing teen programs. But it was terrific to see what was possible. So I've definitely kept that idea in my back pocket if I get a chance to try something that big.
Yeah, and that's just another example too of kind of the wide variety of topics that are covered in this. There's some lighter topics, there's heavier topics. It kind of runs the gamut.
Yep. All right. So we wanted to take just a moment and ask you, what have you learned so far, and what are you excited about trying at your library? Just pop your answer in the chat off to the right and let us know. All right. I don't see anything there yet, but oh, here we go.
Thanks, Lamoya.
Yay, yay. Integrating the book finder with summer reading. That's great. Ideas for programming. Terrific. Yeah, it's great if you're struggling to figure out what am I going to do next month, or in the next few months. It's great.
Yeah, it's really nice. And again,
Mhm.
Pinterest is fantastic, but it is like finding a needle in a haystack sometimes on
Yeah.
there. So it's nice to just go to a place where there's teen programming and it's only teen programming and it's
Yes.
easy to find stuff. Yes.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thanks for your input. We wanted to pivot a little bit now and talk how you can get involved with Yalsa. So Yalsa is volunteer run, and we definitely need everybody's help in keeping it going and keeping it strong. So we want to extend an invitation to anyone and everyone involved in Yalsa to get involved in whatever way suits you. So you could certainly write for Yalsa, for the hub, or the blog, or anything else. You could serve on a committee or a task force. And Jessica's going to talk a little bit later about some of the committees that have openings right now. You could share a program on the HQ, as we mentioned earlier. That's a great way to get the word out about what you're doing. You can connect with others by starting an interest group or networking, either at a meetup or at a conference. I will say one of the rules I have for going to conferences is to talk to everybody I stand with in line, or else if I'm on the shuttle bus, to talk to somebody I'm sitting next to. Some people look at me like I'm really strange, but I've connected with a whole bunch of different people. So I highly recommend doing that. You'll meet all kinds of cool people.
That's a
And
good point. I have met
yeah,
librarians that worked in Alaska and Hawaii, and I'm like, if I'm ever on vacation, I'm gonna like pop into these libraries
because
since
of
I have
course
it. Yeah, it's
librarians go to libraries on vacation. Of course you
yes,
do.
it's and I've met like publishers, like I've met really interesting people just like who I happen to be waiting for the bus with.
Yep.
That's a
Yep.
really good point.
So anyway, we've got a link on this page on how to get more involved with Yalsa. But if you go to the Yalsa site, I think that the link is just called Get Involved and talks about
Yeah, and
volunteering.
I think I posted it again later too. Yes.
So we're going to go through that infographic on the right-hand side of the page. It's a huge infographic. It's really good, but it's hard to see on the screen. So we're going to go through it bit by bit.
And I will post a link to a PDF of this later on, but we kind of broke this down. So this infographic is really great, showcasing different ways you can get involved. On the left-hand side, you have virtual opportunities, things that you can do from home, online. On the right-hand side, you have things that you can do face-to-face. So the key thing to remember about this is there's, again, just like with the professional development, there is a wide variety of opportunities. There are opportunities for if you are feeling ready to give like a deep time commitment, if there's something that, or if you're just feeling like, oh, I can't do a big committee or something like that, but I could maybe write a blog post or I could do something small. So there's things that you can do if you have 15 minutes. There's something you can do if you have hours every day of your time to give. So, and it's
I
also
don't know
kind
how
of,
many of us have that, but I mean, you can take
exactly, yeah,
15 minutes to write a
sure.
letter in support of a particular,
Yes.
issue or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it's also kind of broken down by sort of interests or strengths. So if there's something you're more interested in or you feel you have a strength in, you can like look at this infographic that way. So on this slide, we've got advocacy and supporting. You can vote for Yalsa committees and Yalsa bylaws and things like that. You can join a strategic committee like the one Christine and I are on. You can participate in library legislative days and advocate for teen services with your local representatives. Those are things you can do face-to-face or online. Getting your teens involved is awesome too. You can be spotlighted or spotlight another member for Yalsa. I did serve, I think last year on the Volunteer of the Year Award Committee, and that was really cool to see all the awesome things other Yalsa members are doing.
I bet that was really inspiring.
Yeah, it was so
Yeah.
cool. So that was cool to be a member of that committee. And I will let you know that like not a lot of people got nominated, and I know people are doing great things. If you know someone or you think you're doing a great job, throw their hat in the ring. Throw their hat in the ring. Volunteering at the Yalsa booth at conference. Again, it's a fantastic way to meet people, and it's a great way to give back to Yalsa. I know a lot of us are interested in evaluating YA materials and collection development. Serving on a selection list committee or an award committee is a great way to beef up those skills. You can, and those are things that require a deep time commitment. It's a ton of work. But you can nominate a title. Say you've read a great book and you want those committees to know about it. There's like usually a link in the e-newsletter where you can do that, or you can go on the website to do that. But that's a fast way. You could do that in 5 minutes, letting folks know about a great book. You could, again, write for a professional review journal. You could write something for the hub. So if evaluating YA materials is a strength or interest, there are a lot of ways that you could do that.
And you could also watch Jessica's past webinar to find out even more about.
Yes, that was a really fun webinar, and people had great questions because serving on one of those committees sounds like a lot of fun, and it's nice to know like what actually goes into it, what goes on behind the scenes. So definitely look that up on the webinar archive if you're interested.
So here are some other ways of getting involved, doing a webinar like this one for Yalsa, or hosting an institute, presenting at a conference or symposium, really getting your name out there and showing what's going on at your library, talking about relationships that you built with local schools and local libraries, for instance. Also doing some networking, representing Yalsa at a state conference. I think at a previous version of the DMP, we were talking about, oh, well, I'd love to bring some Yalsa materials to my state yearly conference. It was like, wow, that's a great idea. So
Mhm.
I think if you're interested in doing that, talk to Yalsa and see what you might be able to do. Represent Yalsa and joint committees with other organizations through ALA, for example, or connecting online. If you can only do things virtually, take a look at that left-hand panel, because there's a lot of opportunities that are solely virtual, but still give you a way to connect with Yalsa and with other teen librarians.
There are also a lot of great opportunities to beef up on your leadership skills, which I think is great for teen librarians. I found, at least for me, being a teen librarian is sort of like a terminal position. Like, it's so rare to be at a library where you could be a teen services manager. Some libraries have that, but so many libraries are small, and that's not an option. If you want to work with teens and you want to get leadership skills, you kind of have to branch out and be an assistant director, manager. So if you have the opportunity to get some leadership experience through Yalsa committees, I think that's great. So you could be a chair of a committee, which is such a cool opportunity. You could apply for the Emerging Leaders Program. You could be a board fellow if you're interested in kind of the politics and kind of behind the scenes of Yalsa. That would be a great opportunity. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can kind of like get some leadership experience if you're not able to do that in your day-to-day life at your library.
And
then
I
writing.
We have a board member with us today who might be able to talk.
We do. We've got president, we've got board member, we've got lots of folks on here who might be able to answer questions if you're interested in that. And then writing, I think as librarians, most of us have some great writing skills. You could add content to Yalsa's wiki. Again, you could blog for the Yalsa blog or the hub. You could write a column or an article in one of our research journals. Christine and I both happen to know folks who have published books with Yalsa, which is super cool. So again, lots of opportunities. Some of these are super intensive commitment opportunities. Some of these are short and sweet. So again, there's lots of ways that you can kind of get your foot in the door and get some experience with Yalsa to see what ways of getting involved are going to work for you.
Great.
And then I wanted to share, we do have some current openings. There's a list of quite a few strategic committees that have openings. I've just popped in a few here. If you're a school librarian doing this AASL, Yalsa Committee on School and Public Library Cooperation could be a really cool opportunity. The research committee is looking for folks. Social media marketing, that teen programming HQ, their task force is looking for folks. So again, there's quite a few. Click here for the recent or for the complete list. I'll send, again, we're going to send this out to you guys. But there's a complete list on the Yalsa blog, as well as a link to the volunteer application. So we'll make sure you all get access to those.
I wanted to talk a little bit about membership dues, and apologies to those of you who are already Yalsa members, but just wanted to make you aware, if you're not a Yalsa member, or else if you know somebody who's interested in Yalsa, for salaried librarians and library workers, it's $137 for the first year. So that's $75 for ALA and $62 for Yalsa. And students get discounted rates, so you can join ALA for $40 annually and Yalsa for $27 annually, for a total of $67 a year. And both of these have stayed pretty consistent. They really haven't gone up much in recent years, but if you're interested in more information about that, you can visit the link on the screen.
And I will say too, what's really helpful if talking about maintaining your membership, there are also payment plans in place. I know I had 1 year where I needed a payment plan and I paid for my membership dues in a couple installments, and that was really helpful with my budget that year. So Yalsa is willing to work with folks. We want to keep you as members. We really want your voice heard. We want you as part of our organization, and we're willing to help you out. So check out that page for details if you need some assistance with that.
Great. All right. So we're ready to hear your questions. What are you interested in doing with Yalsa, and how can we help you get there? Our information is on the screen, so you can certainly contact us after this webinar, but if you have questions now, we'd be happy to try and answer those.
Is there anything you're curious about that we didn't mention today? Anything you'd want a little more in-depth info on? let us know. And again, if you think of something later, feel free to email either of us. We're happy to share.
All right.
I'm going to stop sharing my screen briefly because I just want to add, or I'm going to escape real quick. I want to get the link for you guys to that graphic so that you can look at it in more in depth here, because I think it's so informative and great.
I think what it really points out is how many different opportunities there are to participate virtually and in person. I know some of us are still a little hesitant about meeting in person. We've got a question about where can we get access to all the links you shared today. And I believe we are going to be sharing a copy of all the slides from this presentation. So you're welcome to take a look at the slides there. Or you can go on the Yalsa site and look for them.
And for those of you who are new members, we did send an email out that had a lot of those links too, but we will be sharing our slides. So don't feel like you need to write everything down or anything.
So for you new Yalsa members, have you learned something new and exciting today? I mean, I saw a couple of questions earlier about ideas for programming and HQ. And as we were preparing for this webinar, I was looking through HQ today, and it was like, ooh, that's a good idea. And, looking through some virtual programming possibilities, but also as we're going back to in-person, thinking toward the fall and what we might be able to implement. So I continue to find things of interest on HQ and on the Yalsa website to explore. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear you feel more comfortable navigating Yalsa on the web after the session. I'm so glad to hear that.
There is a lot of information on that site.
Yeah, I hope you feel comfortable volunteering at some point too, Yasdeep. We'd love to have you. Jessica, did you want to talk a little bit more about being on an awards committee? That's something that interested me and got me thinking about being a volunteer. I did not even know about the DMP committee until I was asked to serve on it. Are a lot of attendees coming to annual?
Oh yeah, I would be curious to see that. There will be a Yalsa 101 in-person session too, if you're interested in going with some different speakers.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and serving on a selection committee has been an amazing experience. I served on the Best Fiction for Young Adults committee back when it was still in person. And then I did Amazing Audiobooks, and both of those are so cool for so many reasons. They're larger committees of about 15 people, so you get an opportunity to meet and get to know librarians from a wide variety of places, different types of libraries. It is a ton of work. So I'd say on Best Fiction, you end up reading probably at least 200 books in a year and evaluating those. Audiobooks, maybe a little bit less than that. So you are just like, always be reading is the goal of those committees. There were points.
Oh, that's so hard as a librarian, isn't it?
Oh, I know, but it's hard when you have other stuff to do. Like there were points where I was reading like a book a day. You get good at like always having a book on your phone or in your purse when you're in line at the post office when you're reading, but you really get good at evaluating books. Audiobooks was really a great experience to learn how to evaluate audiobooks. But it's a heavy time commitment. You're reading all the time, you're checking in with folks, you're receiving submissions all the time. So it's a really, really cool opportunity, but it is a lot of work. But I think everybody should try it at least once, because it's really, really great.
And so much fun. Mentions be on the lookout for Teentober swag. So they'll be coming soon.
Yeah.
But the other thing, Jessica, you had mentioned that was an in-person committee to serve on. Is it still, or is
it not anymore? And actually, when I did Amazing Audiobooks, it was virtual too. So now those are all virtual. So that's also nice. It's nice if you're not going to have the time or money to go in person to the conference, you can still participate that way. We received book submissions, and we just did all of our discussion online. We did our blog post reviews for the hub, and we just did everything virtually. So there are pros and cons to both ways, but I think it's so nice that more folks have access to that opportunity now that it's virtual.
Well, one of the board members, Franklin, mentioned that serving on a selection committee was something he felt was important because he wanted his voice to be heard and he wanted to be represented in there. I thought that was a terrific reason to serve on a selection committee.
Yeah, and I think that's a great or a great thing to do on any committee. We want to hear from a variety of voices. So that's why we want everyone to get involved. We don't want to be pushy, but like we would love to hear from all of you, new folks, more experienced folks, folks in all different kinds of libraries, from all different walks of life.
And it looks like we've got a couple of comments from Carla and Lamoya. If you're going to annual, please stop by the member lounge from 3 to 5 on Saturday afternoon. And the membership meeting will be quarterly, led by your fabulous board leadership.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going in person, there's lots of fun stuff that you're going to be able to do.
Yeah.
All right, any last minute questions before we wrap up?
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us talk about Yalsa. And I hope we'll run into you sometime at a conference or on a committee.
Yes.
And yeah, hope the links are useful for you.
Yes, and please be in touch if you think of any other questions down the road.
Sounds great.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you.